All right, welcome into the Blueprint. We are super excited for this episode because it is you guys' episode. You've done such a great job of supporting us. The subscriber count continues to climb. Asked you last week to submit some questions, and that's what we're going to focus on today is your questions. But I wanted to start this show, Dev, giving a shout out to the USA men's and women's hockey teams. Both bringing home a gold medal.
USA.
It was unbelievable. Man, Michigan is well represented there. The Hughes brothers, I've been at a few Michigan tailgates with them. Rolinski, the defensive lineman there on the hockey team, I had class with him. So really, really cool to see, and such an unbelievable game. Canada favored by 1.5 goals, and USA gets it done in overtime. I just want to start out and give a shout out to the home team, the country, the USA men's and women's team there for getting it done. Dev, did you watch the game? It was unbelievable.
We must protect this house, and the goalie protected the house.
That was unbelievable.
I didn't see every single stop he had. I mean, I think what he had 41 or 42 or something crazy like that. But that one where he's a little past, I don't know the terminology, I'm not a hockey guy, but he's a little past the net, right? But then he goes back and just with the edge of and blocks it. Because if that doesn't happen, they don't win. Period. It's not going to happen.
Because that was regulation.
And then the 3-on-3 thing. That's not a regular thing I've heard. I like that.
Yeah.
Because for a guy that's not a hockey guy that doesn't usually watch hockey, when it goes 3-on-3, it's like, okay, we can just clearly see now, right? With all the players, there's a lot going on, 5 people running all over the place. But that 3-on-3, I was like, okay, that tells you who are your best 3 and who's the better team. And I really enjoyed that one. That was good.
Hey, how about the toughness of these guys, man?
Dude, he has no teeth.
His teeth knocked out. Dude, these are fake teeth. I got them knocked out in 5th grade. It is unbelievably painful. You have so many nerve endings in there. And what he skates off, they say, here, trainer, hold my tooth. I need to go win the gold medal for our team.
Here's some dirt. Rub this dirt on it real quick so I can go hit the game winner really quickly. I got something to do.
Did you see him? He was doing interviews and drinking beer, but he couldn't put it up to his lips because it would hurt. So he was dumping the beer down his throat. Like, you guys are just, it was
hockey
awesome,
players
man.
think they're the toughest athletes. And it's up there. It's up there because I'm just telling you, if a hockey stick hits me in my open, clean face with no mask and all my teeth are busted up and it's blood all over the place, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
You played with a broken foot. You don't give yourself enough.
I know, but and I will say finger, foot, and mouth pain, those are the worst pains.
Yeah.
However, that's because, I like my teeth. It's just like, I don't want any more damage to happen. I need to get to the dentist now.
Yeah.
But that was incredible.
All right. Let's get into these questions. I want to start there. I'm going to combine 2 questions because I wanted to start with this and say congrats on your baptism, DG. That is from one of the fans. So shout out to you, man. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Let's start with this one. And I think we've talked about this at times, but I'd love to revisit it. So the first question is, can you two share some of your impressions of your favorite teammates during your tenures? Would love to hear about the guys you played with and some teammate performances where you couldn't believe what you saw. Thanks. Dev?
Kind
of goes hand in hand with the record performance last week, I'd imagine.
So, and 2 of my favorite teammates of all time, one tight end and one quarterback, Denard, who it shouldn't be because he was keeping me from my dream, and it's very devastating. But Denard and Kevin Koger. And Kevin Koger and Kovacs, Jordan Kovacs might be in there a little bit, but he tried to stump me out one time, and that's another story for another day. Yeah, Mr. Nice Jordan Kovacs, who everybody loves, tried to stump me out because he was upset. But, it's either here nor there. We'll talk about that another day. I remember when I first got to Michigan, doing all the conditioning and all that, it was super difficult for me, obviously, because I'm in the speed group. And so Kevin Koger was in the middle group, right? He was in the tight end group. And it was super easy for him. He was killing it, right? And so while I'm always struggling, like I remember one day specifically, he absolutely lost it on everybody, on Denard, on Roy Roundtree, on everybody in the speed group. Because his whole thing was, we're a team. This guy's young. He's struggling. And y'all just leaving him. Like, y'all just running because, they were doing it with no problem, right? And like, y'all just leaving him. And so he joined in the speed group. and started running the speed group times with me to help me finish. It was incredible. And then moving forward, he was always a really good teammate to me. Incredible as a teammate. That I don't even need to go really any further. Hilarious as a teammate, and he's one of my top. He's at least in my top 10 ugliest teammates as well. So, and he knows this. So this
we'll
is
make
not
sure
like
he
a
gets
surprise.
that. Yeah.
Oh no, he knows this for sure. Right. And then Denard, obviously, even though he was keeping me from my dream, like he is the one that kept me sane while I had this huge shock of not being the best quarterback on the team for the first time since I was 6 years old. Right. I'm in this position where I was the new hotness, and in today's age, I would be the new NIL. I would have all the NIL that you could desire, and I'd never been second string, right? From ninth grade, where some of you guys may remember Deion Sims. He was a big Michigan recruit, but he went to Michigan State, 6'6", 215 pounds as a ninth and 10th grader, right? He was the number one basketball and football player in all the state of Michigan. Incredible athlete. He was at U of D Jesuit. I went there as a ninth grader, 14 years old. We battered it out through the summer. He got in trouble in class or was late to class or something like that. So I started the first game, and I lit it up. And then he came in the second half and played receiver. And so I went to U of D knowing there's a 6'6", 215-pound dog playing quarterback. And I still believed that I would be the quarterback, and I was able to become that. Now, did I get some help by him not going to practice or school or whatever he did? Yes. However, I truly thought I could beat him out. And so even then, never been back up. And then I get to Michigan, and there's literally next to no chance of me playing because I'm only 1 year behind Denard. He's going to win. He's eventually going to win the silver football. He's the fastest man alive. And it was demoralizing. The people don't really know or talk about the emotional toll it takes on you when you are one of these elite athletes coming out of high school, and then you're humbled in such a way that it kills you almost, right? And it was a tough time for me, and he was right there, and it was so confusing because it's like, dude, I am taller than you. I'm a better passer, and if I beat you out, you won't play. And it was like he was doing everything he can to make sure that when my time came, I was prepared. And I don't know many people that would do that, especially because he's basically betting against his own interests. So those two, and there are other teammates, of course, but those two are in high regard with old DG.
Yeah, man, those are great answers. And I love like that period of growth when you get there. That's where I was going to start. Frank Clark I took this as like freaks. Okay. So and Frank Clark is the one that stands out to me. And I'll start with a future event and then come back. Remember we were playing Utah in the Big House, and Frank Clark was a free rusher off the edge. They sent a running back to go cut him, and this running back ran full speed at him. And Frank Clark, who's 280 in pads in a defensive end, proceeds to 2-foot hurdle this running back and then go smoke the quarterback. I mean, he was a freak amongst freaks.
Yeah.
I got the real taste of that. It was my first ever spring ball. I was 17 years old, early enrollee, first padded practice, and we're doing the Oklahoma drills. And the tight end said they had a tradition where the new guy has to block Frank Clark. I think that's because that was made up. They just didn't want to block Frank Clark.
Yeah. Either they just didn't want to, or Frank Clark wanted you.
Whatever it was, I was on the losing end of that because he literally lifted me up. My feet were dangling, and he didn't even care about the running back. He just wanted to make a point and tossed me 5 yards. I called my dad that night. I was like, Dad, I think I'm going to have to transfer, man. I don't think I'm going to play in college. He's like, no, you need to go hit the cafeteria in the weight room,
Yeah.
A great teammate of mine was AJ Williams.
Juice.
Awesome dude. I got to give him a shout out because he did so much dirty work, and I would not be the player that I became without AJ. So many of those play actions out of 12 personnel, AJ's one-on-one with the defensive end backside and enjoyed it and took great pride in it. And the irony is we're playing Florida in the bowl game, and there was this play was breaking open on tape all the time. It was 12 personnel, the front side tight ends running a corner, the backside tight ends running a shallow. I would always just go. I would be the guy that was the primary receiver. AJ said, "Hey man, can I get this corner route?" And I'm like, "Man, absolutely, you can get the corner route." And I was hyped for him. I thought he was going to score a touchdown.
What? You thought AJ was going to score a touchdown run the corner?
It was popping, DG. It was popping. We get in the game, we switch. AJ's heart is beating. They triple teamed him, left me wide open. I caught the shallow for like an 8-yard.
What was Florida doing?
I don't know.
Why are
know.
you?
It was awesome.
AJ has caught a total of 8 passes in his life. I'm not even talking about just in Michigan. And obviously that's an exaggeration. But why would you do triple team, double team him when you're the whatever? But I have something, and AJ may see this, so I gotta let him know. I still haven't forgiven you. I remember we were playing Iowa. It was super cold. It was at Iowa, and it was this play where AJ hadn't had a touchdown now ever because he's our blocking tight end, right? He wasn't the guy running on the pass patterns. So I'm running around. I'm trying to make a play. I get to the sideline and I'm cornered. And somehow, some way, I think he's supposed to be blocking. We got to check on that. But he's standing in the end zone. I'm at about the 5-yard line. He's standing in the end zone, wide open, and everything in me said, "Oh no, that's AJ." And I flick it to him. I get knocked out. I'm laying flat on my back. Everybody is so happy for AJ. Everybody forgot that I just got destroyed, and they're running off. And I'm looking like I'm on the ground, like looking up, and I'm like, is nobody going to help me here?
No one picked you up?
It is freezing cold, but I can understand now because AJ scoring a touchdown, as it's the greatest thing in the world, but I don't forgive you. You should have been over there to help me up.
Yeah. I got one more for you, though. Ben Gideon's one of my best friends, and when we came in there with Wellman, we went through our own combine. The combine record that year in 2013 of bench press was, I think it was like 30 reps. Ben came in as an 18-year-old freshman and hit 28 reps of 225. It would have been third best at the NFL Combine.
I remember that.
He is a freak.
And after he did that, I started calling him Bidian. So I just combined his first and last name. And
Some Greek god or something like that.
I was saying it like that Russian, Bidian. Yes. And then I would talk regular. It's hilarious.
Yeah. We were lucky, man. We were blessed. I could talk about Jordan Lewis and Jabril Peppers. I could talk about countless guys, but that was awesome. Too. I'm really interested to see where you take this next one. The question is I would like to know about what missing ingredients would have been needed to have had a perfect season during your peak years at Michigan. Maybe a way to look forward to advise the new era that's being formed. Again, congrats on your baptism, DG. So what season comes to mind when this question gets brought up for you?
Well, I think our 2012, we were way better than our record show. Should have beat South Carolina in the bowl game, but that was the year I played receiver from the beginning of the year. And, me and Denard have talked about, if I would have started off at quarterback, I don't know, it would have got real dangerous because that offensive line was incredible. But then 2013.
That's the year I was thinking.
I really think, one missing ingredient, because, football, not just in a game, but throughout a season, and even from an off season going into a season, it's a lot about momentum. Mm-hmm. And in that year, we had a lot of momentum going into Penn State where we had tough games that we found a way to win. We had dominated people. We were really good. And we get to Penn State and it's like, okay, this is the big test, right? They aren't great, but they're still Penn State. It's at Penn State. It's a whiteout. Not many of us on that team had experienced that. The people in key positions. And so we get into that game, and I'm playing terrible to start the game. We're getting down, and then somehow Frank Clark makes a play. Speaking of Frank Clark, we're on the sideline. Come on, he's like, listen, I'm going to get you the ball back. I'm going to make a play, and then you're going to put us on your back. And I'm like, all right, that's exactly what's going to happen then. He makes a play, doesn't just get the ball back, scores a touchdown, right? And then they get the ball back again, and we score, and I'm lighting them up. I'm lighting them up from here on out. And we go into 5 overtimes. Long story short, we probably shouldn't have, right? Mm-hmm. Channing Stribling, who is my boy, I don't blame him. They put him in the game position. He was in perfect position, but he was in perfect position, and he hadn't played all game. Right? Yeah. They threw him in there in the biggest time. I'm like, what are we doing? I would have been out there. Send me. Anybody else, but he still was right there to make the play. He couldn't make it, and then we go in overtime. But before we go into overtime, we got a little bit of time, and I drove us down in position to kick a field goal. Remember, but we had long field goal kicker, and we had short field goal kicker. And Hoke sends out short field goal kicker. What are we doing? We're
got blocked, right?
It didn't even make it to the goal line.
Yeah.
We're going to get lucky because Matt Wild was our long field goal
Yep.
kicker, and they did not when I'm jogging off the field and Gibbons is running past, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right, we have a long field goal kicker for a reason, and whatever. So then we go to 5 overtimes, and we lose that game, and that was one of the hardest games.
We missed another field goal. There was like at least two field goals to win that game that didn't go.
And that momentum, that stopped a lot of our momentum. And I think throughout we had a fine season. It's okay.
Dev, we lost 5 games by the 5 regular season losses. We were 7-6, 5 games by a combined 11 points. That's why I was curious if you would pick this season because we lost to Ohio State, top 5 team in the country by 1 point.
Oh, of course. Like we were a really good football team, but that Penn State game, I think, derailed a lot of it. Right? Yeah. It killed the momentum. It took a lot of air out of our sails. And, so the missing ingredient, we need to beat Penn State that year.
Yeah.
If we finish that game, even if it does happen in overtime, in regulation, whatever, right, that's a huge confidence booster and the momentum. I don't know. Now, will we get into that position where we should have beat Ohio State? I don't know. But I think that winning that game could have changed a lot in that season, and we don't know what could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was thinking that season too. Part of it was youth too. I mean, you mentioned Strib.
Interior offensive line was very, very young. Very young.
I became the starting tight end alongside AJ. We bumped Funch out to receiver. I think we were playing Derek Green even at times there. Like
that was a mistake.
We were really, really, really young, but close. For me, what comes to mind, the 2016 season, I thought that was the most talented team.
Talking about the JT short season?
JT was short, yeah. We were
so
undefeated.
The ingredient is not a cheating referee.
Yeah. And also we were on the road to Iowa at Kinnick, and just we beat ourselves. We should have never lost to Iowa. We let Iowa dictate the terms of play, and then what really screwed us is Wilton broke his collarbone in that game. And missed the Indiana game. That was way too close for comfort. And double overtime against Ohio State came up short. It's just unfortunate, man. It takes time. And when people talk about like, hey, how Jim was able to take the team to the next levels, I think I look at it and say, Mike McDonald's a defensive coordinator, just won a Super Bowl. Jesse Minter was a defensive coordinator, just became a head coach. Like, it was just elite tacticians at that point. The team was able to mature alongside the fact that Wilton got hurt at the worst part of the season. Otherwise, man, we were a playoff team, a Big Ten championship team. But just didn't get it done, and that's just the unfortunate side of football. So
ingredients in any great team is you got to stay that health thing. You have got to try to do your best to stay as healthy as possible.
Some of that's luck,
right? And so we look at Indiana. I know people are probably tired. Why are you always talking about Indiana? Well, they just won the national championship with players that nobody else wanted. They were so healthy through the year. How? I don't know. Even the national championship 2023 year.
They practiced for 90 minutes a day.
Oh, there you go. You're
13
right.
spring ball and half the fall camp.
Yeah, of course. And then 2023, Michigan, that won the national championship, was very healthy, right? And so when you look at teams that win and are really successful, they're very healthy. Maturity is key. But also in those games where you have a chance, you got to get it done. Right, because you're going to have – and for Indiana, that was Penn State for them this past year, where that could have easily turned the tide on a lot of different things and derailed a lot of what they were doing because they're in a dogfight with a team that they should beat. They think they should dominate and beat, and the whole country thinks they should dominate and beat. Vegas thinks – you know what I mean? So being in that dogfight and being able to finish it however you get it done. Doesn't matter whether it's overtime, it's a last-second throw where the guy does this superhero jump out of bounds, reach back inbounds to put his nip of his little toe down. It doesn't matter how it happens. You got to get it done because momentum has to stay on your side, and you'll lose it all if you don't get it done in those situations, which 2013 we didn't. At Kinnick Stadium you guys didn't. So I think that in those situations, and for Michigan, going into this year, now this schedule is going to be very, very tough. However, there are going to be games that you don't expect to be at a dogfight. In 2023, I think it was Illinois or Maryland or something like that.
Yep.
It's going to be games where you're in a dogfight, an unexpected dogfight. The other team brought something. Maybe you didn't come as prepared, whatever the case may be. They're on scholarship too. They're getting NIL, right? So maybe they just gave you their best punch and it worked. you got to find a way to finish and win those games.
Yeah.
Right? Got to find a way to finish and win those games. And if you can do that, now you got action. But the thing for Michigan that's tough is they got all the tough teams. And then there are those little sneaky teams in there that, hey, you better show up for those too if you happen to beat those really tough teams. So I think those ingredients are super, super important.
Just to build off what you said, we joke about like the football gods in football all the time. And like the football gods will put you in unexpected, challenging situations to say, here's your chance to prove you're a championship team. Like that Indiana Penn State game is a perfect, they were much better. And yet they were mature enough to win through discipline at the most important times.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do that in Kinnick. We came up short in Ohio State, even with the officiating. We had plenty of opportunities. And for a tough schedule like Michigan has, like the big difference where they're going to need to make a jump is that the technical side of the game, the penalties, the turnovers, the clock management. Bryce has to take a big leap, and a little here, a little there adds up to a lot. Certainly possible, and I believe Whittingham's the guy to get it done. So we're going to step aside for our first break. We're going to challenge you guys. Continue to hit that like button, that subscribe button. This is going to be the off season. We appreciate the questions. We're going to ask you for even more questions. As on the other side, we're going to answer even more questions. So we'll see you here after a short break.
Welcome back to The Blueprint. Thank you for being with us all the way through the offseason. You guys are just so loyal, and that's why we have these episodes where we're doing these questions, and we have some more for you. So, fellow Wolverine alumni here, Go Blue, of course, was fortunate enough to attend the uni of my dreams during our most recent championship years, and specifically was able to be in the game of 2021 as a student. That's got to be incredible. Where were you guys at doing when we broke the OSU win streak, and what was your reaction like when we won? I'll let Jake take this one. He was closer to his playing days, so he was fit. Wait, because that you hadn't beat Ohio State before.
Nope.
So you had no idea what it felt like.
Nope.
Take us into the mind, the heart, the body of a Jake, but who was living in Ann Arbor.
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to this question asker. He said he was a student at the uni of his dreams. So he was there for that. And it sounds like that wasn't the year he graduated. He got to see a few more wins. So what an awesome experience. Here's the backstory for me. I had retired from the NFL before the 2021 season. And honestly, Dev, I kind of hated football at that point. I was injured. I kind of hated it. I joined Isaiah Hull's podcast as you did. And so there, I was like, all right, I'll commit to watching Michigan throughout the year. So that almost made me double down. I hated football, but I loved Michigan. And at the time I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I moved back to Ann Arbor with my wife because I just figured opportunities would come in Ann Arbor. So I had the luck to be there in person. The snow was fall. It was the most beautiful experience ever. The snow was falling. The stadium was packed with blue. What I remember of that game, the one thing that stands out to me, beside Hassan Haskins dominating, besides the Michigan win, was when Roman Wilson was in the end zone and he gets tied up with a Buckeye defensive back, and they get up and they start jawing at each other. The Michigan offensive line runs over and gets in that Ohio State player's face to defend Roman Wilson. And then there's a buzz in the crowd. There's about to be a scuffle. The refs get ready to break it up. All of a sudden, Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan O-line with all their eye black, they come right over to where we were, which is the recruiting section. They rip off their helmets and start pumping up the crowd. And I had this thought, I'm like, oh my goodness, this team's different. They are winning the big moment. And I did not feel like Ohio State was ready. So yes, Michigan won and it was glorious, but it felt bigger than that. It didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like Michigan said, hey, Buckeyes, I don't care what you thought happened in the past. It's a new era here. Aiden had 18 pressures. That was the famous Bo call. I rushed the field. There were tears coming down my wife and I's eyes that froze because it was so cold. I mean, to this day, Dev, I think the Rose Bowl against Alabama was one of my favorite games I've been to. Obviously, the national title game. That 2021 game against Ohio State in person was it was almost a psychedelic experience, man. It was so beautiful to watch those guys dominate that day.
Yeah, that was also the viral clip of Aiden Hutchinson before the snap saying, come on, I'm about to get you. I'm going to get you. I mean, I don't know what he was saying, but he's like, and then he just bowls over the dude who was like a top draft pick tackle.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
and just runs right over him in the snow, like cinematic. I mean, chef's kiss. Incredible to see. Me,
Hassan
I
had
think I had
5
3
touchdowns.
Yeah, that's insane. Like that's Biaka Batuka type
Yes.
performance for him. I think I had 3 games that weekend. So I was just I
That's
was
when you were
saving
doing the double duty?
Yeah, I was doing the double and triple. I had like 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. It was rough. But it was really cool to see. Because I remember when we beat them in 2011, it was pretty incredible. I played like 2 or 3 snaps in that game. So my claim to fame was I was the last Michigan quarterback to beat Ohio State, but it was really
right.
cool to see them get it done. And the pictures, like I can't wait till like 20 years from now. Like those pictures and those like moments are gonna be so fun, and everybody storming the field. Like that was crazy. That was crazy.
Let's get back to that. I would like to get back to that.
Well, we don't need to storm the field anymore because we just beat them. That's what we do.
What's expected? Yeah. All right, I got a question for you, Dev.
Yeah.
Well, the fan has a question, but I'm curious too. One question this fan has is, when you were playing, what, if any, was the relationship between the football team and other sports? Are different sports competitive with each other, or is it more like Michigan athletics as a whole bands together? And is it different now that you're alums? Like, did you ever play basketball with the hoops team or anything like that?
Yeah, so it wasn't like band together like that, and it wasn't contentious or anything like that either. So I remember I had class with Tim Hardaway Jr. Me and Trey Burke would hang out a lot. Jordan Dumars, who didn't really get a chance to play a whole bunch, but because of injuries and different things like that. But we would always kind of hang out and do stuff together. And then when we go to CCRB, they would never be there. But some of the guys that didn't play a whole bunch and younger guys would come, and we would play basketball with them. And it was kind of cool, but not as much. But Ben Ballantyne was lived across from me in my dorm. He was a baseball player, and we were really cool. But I didn't really know a whole bunch of the other athletes. Some of the volleyball players, I love going to the volleyball games. That was cool, but it wasn't like a contentious relationship. It wasn't a competitive relationship, but it also wasn't a band together. Hey, we're all athletes. Let's go together. It wasn't really like that either. Yeah. And because when you're a football player, like you're kind of separate a lot, right? We don't share much of the same things with the other athletes and like facilities and stuff like that. It's almost like this fortress that is Schembechler Hall, and we're there all the time, right? And so the time you get the chance to see other athletes, meet other athletes, is really going to class, sometimes in the AC, but I didn't go to the AC much. But yeah, I mean, it was not the contentious relationship, but it also wasn't just a band together. We're all the best friends only because we're athletes.
I got a great story here. Relationship, okay? My wife played lacrosse. I roomed with 5 guys. So we have a relationship, but I roomed with 5 other guys. She roomed with 5 other girls. All my roommates basically dated all of her roommates.
Seems convenient.
It's very convenient. We lived right behind each other. We'd throw like parties in the backyard. Here's the funny story though. Natalie and I were the only ones that lasted. And these are long-term relationships. So we got married a few years ago. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, Dev. And at my wedding, all of my groomsmen had past serious relationships with all of her bridesmaids.
Wow.
Mind you, everybody is remarried with their own family started. So I was nervous a little bit. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And the parents of the bridesmaids are there. So that's the parents of like the exes of my roommates. So I'm like, dude, wait a second.
Basically, you're trying to make an episode of Love and Hip Hop with your wedding.
Basically that. But here's the thing though. And football players, we joke with each other. We call ourselves idiots. My buddies handled it with such class. They went up and introduced themselves and said, hey, how you doing? Great to see the parents. And on a wedding day, to see that, it was so, so cool. So relationships, yeah, we had a great relationship with the women's lacrosse team and still do to this day. Yes.
Clearly.
So that's perfect funny. Question there.
That's good. That's good.
Awesome. And then the baseball house, that's where I had my official visit there with Jack Miller. You've probably been over the baseball house a bunch of times. So we were close, but when you got 100 plus guys on the team, you end up to have 5, 10 really close friends in the football team and roll with those guys.
Yeah, we got like that's the whole thing. Like people always, why didn't you pledge like a fraternity? I'm like, dude, I am in a fraternity. I have like 104 other dudes that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really need a team or group to be a part of because
Right.
I'm a part of the greatest group in all the world, Michigan football.
Yeah. And you didn't really go out. Like you would go
Yeah.
out, but you don't. Yeah.
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 I was a homebody, if
You're
you
a
will.
quarterback.
I mean, I'm
You're
the
a
same
quarterback.
thing now. I'm
Yeah.
the same thing now, so it's perfect.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it home. We got one more here, and this is going to be a fun one. As former players, do you guys have a direct phone number to call the university if you want tickets or sideline passes, or if you want to connect with the current staff or players? Let's start there. There's a few questions.
I know there's a lot in there. No, I don't.
I don't.
I got much more connection with Delta because I'm Diamond. Like I have a specific
Delta on the phone.
Delta line. I can get Delta on the phone right away. Hey, I need to change. I remember I was going to New York for one day for a concert. My flight got canceled or something. And it's like, well, I need this to not happen because I'm cutting it real close. Like I was supposed to land, pretty much go straight to the concert, get back on the plane, go home. And so I'm like, I called Delta Diamond, the Diamond line. And when I tell you they fixed it so fast and got me another flight and gave me some points on top of it for my inconvenience, it was incredible. It was great. So I have a Delta line, Diamond, but I don't know who to call at the University of Michigan, honestly.
So, and here's the thing, like for the viewers, like it would make sense. You'd be like, what do you mean, Jake, DG, you guys can't just get tickets whenever? Well, think about how many players, like you got to draw the line somewhere. Like it's a business. They got recruits. I think we have the right to purchase 2 tickets to 2 separate games at face value. Sideline passes are really iffy because you can't just have 1,000 people down there. So they do their best. And shout out to Dave Abloff and Chad Shepard, those guys, the SIDs. It's an impossible job to make everybody happy, but they do a good job of keeping everybody happy and in check. All right, here's the real question, Dev, that I'm curious to get your thoughts on. Basically, it's asking, obviously we both went to Michigan, right? And we're in media, so we're watching film of opponents. Do you ever see something from a scouting standpoint, whether it's negative or positive, whether watching Michigan or opponent, and want to relay that back to Whittingham and the staff? And how would you even go about doing that without stepping on anyone's toes?
I've kind of stayed away from that. Just because, especially like if you don't know the personality, because some people, you know what? I'm going to give a perfect example. I'm going to give a perfect example of why I don't do it. So, as you all know, I coach the Elite 11, and I get to see all these quarterbacks, right? Get to see all these quarterbacks. And then, so a few years ago, whenever it was, Carter Smith, right? He was a quarterback that was committed to Michigan, right? And so I see him for the first half of the 11 day, and I'm like, this is Michigan coming off a national championship. I just don't think you have to be able to get a quarterback. You know what I mean? And even though Carter Smith may be able to become something, he is not even close to where you would want him to be going into. You know what I mean? And so first I called Denard. I called Denard. I was like, hey man, I need the offensive coordinator at the time. I'm not even gonna say his name. You guys can figure it out for yourself. I need his number. Because I'm talking to Denard, and I'm a little bit more, because Denard didn't recruit him, right? And so he doesn't have this personal attachment that will get him offended because of the things I will have to say after watching him perform, right? And so I'm like, yeah, tell him this stuff, and I need the guy's number because it's all about the University of Michigan, right? If I see something before they see something, right, you got to make sure you let them know. And so he gives me the number, call him. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hey, first, you got to butter him up. Hey, how you doing? How's family? Right. But I'm here to just let you know this guy's not good enough. That's all I'm here for. I'm not here to be friends. I'm not here to, whatever. I actually don't know who recruited him. The only reason I know he recruited him is because of the reaction. And then I talk to other people, and it's like, oh, okay, he's immature. He's very, insecure, if you will. And so I'm just letting him like, hey, just watched him and just, he's just not quite, in so many words, trying to ease in like, hey, this isn't the guy. You need to find somebody else now, right? He is not happy about that. But he won't say the things he wants to say. I know he said other things once we got off the phone because, I just know. But he won't say the things to me because he doesn't know my personality. He doesn't know, is he crazy? Like, what's going to happen if I talk to him this way? But he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I just saw like some recruiting insider posted like 2 or 3 videos. This guy's throwing 100 balls. He posted 2 videos that I guess look good. He's like, I just saw on the internet he had these throws and da da da. And I'm just like, did you hear me? I'm confused. Like I just watched this guy throw from 8 a.m. I watched him perform from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Why are you going back and forth with me about it? Just take what I say. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But don't tell me about some recruiting dude who is sitting on the sideline, likely a dweeb, who recorded a couple videos and put it on the internet, right? And so after that, he goes, "Who the F is this guy, Gardner? He thinks he's somebody. What does he know?" And so he doesn't know I knew these things, right? He doesn't know I know these things. And so obviously, fast forward, they 100% are done with the Carter Smith because I guess everybody figures it out afterward. And it's like, dude,
he's at Wisconsin.
Yes, and he's not gonna play there either. I watched him for one afternoon, and it's like, okay, he's just not yet. Now maybe he could be because he was a little raw and he has good physical tools. But right now, he's not the recruit that can go to the University of Michigan. Period. It's just not the thing that should be, especially after you win the national championship. Now, if it's Michigan where you're struggling or whatever, maybe this is the developmental kid. But right now, you get the guy that's good right now and that you can make better. Fast forward, he doesn't know I know about all that stuff. He said, "What is this guy? He's never done anything for Michigan." All these things. I got Michigan on the game. Like I got the game, and so now you're the coordinator. You got to meet. You got to meet with me. And when I tell you, just trying to be so nice, it's all good. And I'm just like, you have no idea. I know what you really feel already. So you should probably just let's just keep this short so we can go home and then I can call the game. And I hope your offense plays really good. Coincidentally, they played really good. I don't think it was like me, it was against Northwestern. But that I don't know why I told that long story. What was that? Why did I tell?
Well,
that's why I don't, because I don't know the person that because when you recruit a guy, you hold tight to that person, right?
Yep.
Because the thing is, it's just like when you draft a guy and you want to hold tight to a guy you drafted that just isn't good enough. Nobody wants to be wrong. Now, that's where it's bad, because now you're forcing a kid in situations because you just want to prove yourself right, when you could just say, "Oh, I made a mistake. He's not good enough," right? And so that's why I kind of stay out of it. Maybe this staff might be different, but I'm just going to err on the side of, if I see something, I'm just not going to say anything, and they'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. You got to be cautious. And I mean, I think it's fair that you gave your opinion and they disagreed. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I think in our industry, trust is so important. So if you're running around giving a bunch of information to a bunch of teams, people are going to be like, "This guy runs his mouth. I can't tell him anything." Yeah. So when they share stuff with us on those Friday meetings or those Wednesday meetings, that has to really be sacred. So to me, I feel like if it's positive, I'll say, "Hey, man, I really like what you guys did X, Y, and Z," or, "Hey, I really like the way this guy's playing. I think you've done a great job of developing so-and-so." If it's negative, I try to almost frame it as a question, because I don't know the context. I'm not going to come out and say, I think this is terrible. "Hey, I noticed blah, blah, blah. Did you guys notice? Is this a point of focus?" You really do have to you got to spend time thinking about how you're going to spend time in the meetings. It's kind of silly.
It's so crazy because with Signetti, remember I told you the story of how after watching the Old Dominion tape that Fernando Mendoza just wasn't there. And I'm so happy now that I don't have to sugarcoat things. He made it because he's not soft, obviously.
He's not a sugarcoater.
He's not soft, right? So I don't have to tiptoe, "Oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings because this is the guy you recruited." It's like, "Hey, he didn't play well, and here's why, and here's what he's doing," right? And it was a great conversation. So let's go back to the ingredients. You can't have soft coaches that are so butthurt that they made the wrong choice or don't have the necessary skills or tools to fix something. You can't have that. That's an ingredient that you need to take out, I guess.
Yeah. That's also, there you go. Know your audience is another thing we hear in this industry. So when you're talking to Signetti, probably just be blunt, quick, to the point. And he'll
from here on out, I'm like, hey, I just outlined it because what I like to do is I don't want to just say my opinion. I want to outline the things that have formed my opinion. Hey, on play 5 on this, he did this, plays da. Went back to work on these same play. He did, and now it's just like, if you get offended, you're just soft, right? You can't, because I've outlined why. And if you know anything about football, this isn't right. I don't even know your plays, and I know this isn't right. If you get offended by that, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because this isn't a personal attack on you. We're all trying to do the same thing. I'm just trying to figure out, why is he playing well? Why is he not playing well? Because what I don't like is when you notice things that are allowing someone to play well or improve, and you outline those, they're okay with that. But when you do the negative side, they just don't feel good about it. But no, kudos to Cignetti. Not that kind of guy. I love him.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing your audience, very, very important. But well, that'll do it for us, man. This was a great show. This is the off season. What's today? February 25th is when we're recording this. So we're going to lean on you guys. Any questions you have, any guests you want us to try to bring on. I know the Michigan men's basketball team is crushing it. So we'll continue to hit on that as March is quickly approaching.
Do you guys want Brandon Graham? Yeah, I know you can't respond because we're
crazy if they said no.
But Brandon Graham wants to come on the show, and one of the most incredible people. We might just get him on and just let him talk to you guys. I mean, and especially since he's one of the ones that kind of started that dominant defensive line that can carry through Frank Clark and beyond, right?
Yeah.
I think we just absolutely have to, because that's the one consistent with Michigan for sure. Now, there are a lot of different, things are good, but that defensive line, no matter what, going back to me, with Coach Rod, the defensive line has always been a staple. And I don't think people talk about that nearly enough. No matter what the team was, the defensive line is always a bunch of dogs. So I think we got to get Brandon Graham on, and it would be fun.
Yeah, maybe we can do like a Legends series too, because I got a few names pulling through, and he'd be a great first.
People don't remember, Brandon Graham won the Silver Football and was the 15th overall pick, but he's just so humble, just kind of the all shucks, just one of your homeboys. Like, you don't even realize it. Like, he was incredible from birth. It feels like. I mean, incredible. He's a legend around the city of Detroit. I can tell you that.
He single-handedly destroyed the game. We played Broncos versus Philly my rookie year, and he like literally took over the game. He is a force of nature. He's a monster. D line.
He is a monster.
My goodness. Yeah. He's a beast. All right, cool. Well, that I think that should be an expectation.
Wait, hold on. I'm reading the comments. Yes, please, yes. It's Brandon Graham. Okay, got it. They want it.
Good. Done. Well, we appreciate you guys. And hey, look, you like that guest, hit that like button, that subscribe button. We're going to continue to up those goals. We're going for 100K subscribers. We've got a good start here so far. We appreciate you guys. Put in those questions. Brandon Graham will be around the corner. And we'll see you guys on next week's episode of The Blueprint.